When using Google Analytics to pull traffic reports and information about visitor sessions and traffic coming to your website, it's really important that you've got clean data. You want to have data that's coming into the website and the reports coming out be filtered so that you're not including your internal traffic. You don't want to be including users within your organization in your traffic reports because those are going to overinflate your traffic numbers and they're not going to give you the true visitor values of people coming to your site organically. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Tag Manager and how to filter out logged in users within WordPress so that they stop showing up in your traffic reports. So without further ado, let's jump into my computer and get started. Now that we're logged into Google Tag Manager on our account, the first thing you want to do is come over here to the left to variables and click on that section. And you want to scroll down to the bottom here where it says UserDefined variables and click new. Once you're in the UserDefined variables section, click this box and you want to come down here and you want to choose DOM element from the page elements section. Selection method, you want to change this from ID down to CSS selector. And for the element selector, you want to use body.logged-in. That's what the logged in class is being applied to the body element on the HTML of WordPress. So that's how it defines this particular element and matches it up. So we're going to go ahead and change this variable name to WordPress logged in. So we know this variable is applied to people that are logged into WordPress. So now we see it here listed, WordPress logged in. It's a DOM element type variable and we just created it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to come in and create a trigger that's actually going to cause this variable to fire. So we click on the triggers section, come into triggers and click new. And again, click in this box. And we want to choose a page view type and it's DOM ready as the page view. By default, you'll get page view here, but you want to choose DOM ready. DOM stands for Document Object Model, so it essentially means that when a specific element within your browser window is loaded. So we come in here and right now by default we see the default trigger is page view DOM ready. We don't want it to be fired on all DOM ready events. We only want it to fire at certain times, specifically when we are not logged into WordPress. So we click some DOM ready events. And it says fire this trigger when an event occurs and all of these conditions are true. So we want to make sure that WordPress logged in equals null. So what that's essentially telling our Google Tag Manager configuration here is that we don't want this page view DOM ready tag trigger to fire unless the WordPress logged in variable that we created is empty. So essentially it's saying when somebody is on the website and they're not a logged in WordPress user, go ahead and fire this trigger. If they are on the website and they're logged in, it's not going to equal null because they're logged in. It's going to be a yes, so it's going to be positive. So this page view will not fire. So we'll go ahead and rename this to site visitor. You can name these anything you want, by the way. It's just for naming reference so that you know what they're for. So now we've created our variable, we've created our trigger. Now what we need to do as the final step is we need to attach this site visitor trigger to our Google Analytics tag. So we'll click on tags and we've got our Google Analytics tag here created. This was a tag that we created in a previous tutorial so that it's tracking Google Analytics through our website using Google Tag Manager. So we just called it GA for Google Analytics. We come in and click on it. And right now it's being triggered by anytime a page is viewed, it says all pages page view, this fires. So essentially what this means right now is we're tracking every single visit going to the site, regardless of whether or not it's an internal user that's logged in and working on WordPress, or it's a site visitor. So that's kind of muddying up and convoluting our reports. We want to make sure that these are separate. So I'm going to go ahead and come down to triggering here. I'm going to click this pencil icon to edit it. And I want to add a new trigger. So I'll click the plus icon and we're going to choose a trigger. And so our trigger that we just created should show up here. And we click it and now it's listed in here as a site visitor. It's DOM ready and we want to delete this all pages page view trigger. So now this Google Analytics tracking is only going to happen when this site visitor trigger fires, and we know that this is only going to fire when we're not logged into WordPress. So we'll go ahead and click save, and now we are all set up. We've got our site visitor trigger applied to our Google Analytics tag. And so now we just want to do one last step, and that last step is previewing and checking to make sure that our changes work. So we'll come up here and click this preview button. And then as we come over to preview, it's going to tell us right here that we're in preview workspace mode. And so I'll come over to the Sharp website that we're working on. And it shows now that I'm currently logged into the website. And so it says tags not fired on this page, Google Analytics, which is exactly what we want. We don't want the Google Analytics tracking code to fire on this page because I'm currently logged in. I'm an internal user. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out, and then we'll go back to the website and we'll see what happens. So as we come back to the website now, we'll see that we are currently not logged in, and now the tag is firing on this page. So now that we're not logged in, Google Analytics recognizes that, hey, this person isn't logged into WordPress, they must be a site visitor. Let's go ahead and fire this tag and start tracking this visit. So now we're getting accurate analytics data from our website that's only giving us people that are not logged into the WordPress website, aka your visitors. So that's how you go ahead and add Google Tag Manager to your WordPress site and filter out your internal traffic. The last step we want to do, if we're happy with our preview results, is we want to click the submit button here. And essentially what this is doing is it's saving this version of our workspace. So I'm just going to call this WordPress filtering hide logged in WordPress users from analytics reports. So now I know exactly what we've done here and what the version is. So I'll go ahead and click publish. It publishes it. So now we've got version 5 of our workspace published. We're running one tag, one trigger with 2 variables, and it shows us that it's up and running. So now we come back to workspace. We can leave the preview mode because it's actually published and saved. And we are all done and ready to go. So that is how you update and filter out your traffic internally by using Google Tag Manager and WordPress. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, please reply in the comments below and I'll be glad to answer them. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.